Hey Dale, can you hear me?
Yes, Mache, how are you?
I'm very well, man. How are you doing?
Good, good, thank you.
All right. So
Yeah.
today we are here to talk about the first assignment.
Awesome.
So 60-second long intro. Um, the first assignment is about building a game, and I think that software development is a very practical discipline. So we are going to dive deep straight away. Um, there are different kind of games we can build, but the one I've chosen is called the Snake. If you have an old phone, you probably have a
We all know
Snake
it.
game on
Yeah,
your Nokia. Cool.
yeah,
So we are going to build that game. Now, in the whole ecosystem of web development, I need to let you know where you are. So we are on the very top. Like you remember previously, I spoke about 3 different layers. So we are not on the database. We are not in the services on the server. We are in the client, in the browser. We are going to
yeah.
build the most trivial website we can.
Okay.
So I have sent you a link. So if you could switch the view to your desktop
Thank you.
and click on the link.
Okay. There you go. Got the link. I'm going to click on the link. There we go.
Lovely.
Should share my screen, opening my browser, and there's my browser opening up. Okay, I see. What website is this? Where is it taking me?
So, first things first, the website is called Plunker. It's
Yeah.
called plnkr.co. Now, Plunker is like a notepad or scratchpad for writing a website on a
Awesome.
website.
Okay.
So
And
this
it's
is a
free.
little bit like Inception. It's free and it's online. It's a website, and you use the website to write your own little website. And this is what I
Lovely.
prepared for you, so you can have a look at what I've done.
Thank you.
Now,
Okay.
what do you see on the screen?
I see. I'm going to start from left to right because that's the way I read things. And on the left-hand side, I can see here Snake being the heading MB 6620
That's my
hours
email.
ago. That's how long it's been there. And then I see a folder with another folder inside with a couple of files. So some of the things look familiar there, like index HTML with websites. We have that style and script. Yeah, those things are all there. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
In the center, there should be, that's the view of that file there, index HTML. Go to
That's right.
CSS,
So
all
you
that
click
one.
on a
Okay, I
file
see.
and you click on a file and it opens on a screen. You can edit, and whatever you type in, it runs straight away in the preview on the right-hand side.
Lovely. Okay.
So what you can do now is you can press this refresh button in the preview. That's going to reload the page, and now you can play the game using the arrow keys a little bit.
Okay.
So on your keyboard,
I can't. There
there
we
we
go.
go. So you're playing the game right now. So
That's it.
I have put together this game in 2 hours yesterday in the evening
Okay.
because I wanted to keep your first assignment practical.
Okay.
Now, we are going to talk for 5 minutes about the code, how is it organized, and then the takeaway for today is something very simple. This is what
Okay.
I've done in 2 hours. I want you to go away and study this particular example. I want you to understand what are those three files doing and what is the code inside responsible for.
Okay.
And I want you to take notes to understand it. I want you to reverse engineer it. And I'm going to give you some pointers on how to do it. And then once you understand what I've done, I want you to code it yourself from scratch into exactly the same thing.
Lovely. Okay. Perfect. That's awesome.
All right. Shall we have a look at those three files one by one quickly?
Yes.
So a typical website is built in three different types of files, types of content. You've got the HTML files. In this case, you've got index.html. If you look at the middle section, index.html is displayed, and this is the markup to define other dependencies in the head, and the body of the page defines what's on the right-hand side, which is the screen where the page loads. And I'm not going to talk about how HTML is constructed, because you can Google that, and Google is your friend, and there is a million of different people already explaining what's the way HTML pages work. So you can just have a look, Google each of those things, and work it out.
Lovely, thank you. I'm sure I'll be from fiddling around with the basic websites and going into, when you're on the website and you right click, select the view, or there's a view option when you're on viewing a website, and you can go in and look at the code, and also with the editing in WordPress, editing some of the HTML code, you sort of start picking up more or less how it's structured. Everything comes with a header, a body, and with the the text in the middle. All right, so that's index.html, and that would be. So do I have to, when I set this up, do I have to create all these files and this folder?
So this Plunker whole thing, this website, is going to be our tool number one. And when you create a new project in Plunker, by default, it gives you those three files. So this is like a very basic skeleton. So this is the quickest way to get a fully functional, probably the smallest as well, but fully functional website, where you can just start typing your code and change things, and that's how you can develop a website to begin with.
Awesome.
And as we move on to better solutions and better tools, we are going to be developing locally on your desktop, on your laptop, with files that you're going to be saving somewhere, but we'll talk about that another time. Right now, we'll just keep it simple.
Perfect. Okay. So we've done index.html. I understand the head, the body, and I will just go and research all those things inside there, the style sheet. I'll see these highlighted options and so forth, goes and browse there. So I'm just going to go through that, read that, and understand what is going on and how it's being displayed on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, index.html. And then which one would you like me to go to next?
Let's go into style.css.
Okay.
Only 5 lines over here. Styles on a website are responsible for, as the name says, styling the content. Over here, you can see what is it doing. It's self-explanatory, and I'm purposefully not diving into any details, because one of the things I'm doing on this channel is I'm going to show you the framework on how to think, how to analyze, and how to make progress yourself. I'm not here to be spoon-feeding you. I'm here to be challenging you and, just giving you tasks that teach you how to learn yourself practically.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, like you said, this is quite simple and self-explanatory. I fiddled around with those sort of settings before on websites, okay? And then what is the next one? I go to script.js. I take it that's JavaScript.
Yeah, and I really like how you're connecting the dots already, and you're saying, oh, yeah, I've seen this before, because I was doing a little bit of this and that. And what's the website you're using?
On the websites, yeah.
Yeah, what's the templating engine you've been referring to?
WordPress. Yeah, the WordPress. That's right.
WordPress, yeah. So, depending on how much you've done, you already can recognize here and there different things. And this is what's really important in software development, to be observable, to observe, to analyze, and to make references in your head, like, oh, okay, all right, I've got HTML here, I've got HTML there. Maybe they're the same thing. I'm going to read about it, see what can I do.
Yeah,
so
100%.
That's how we learn. Okay, script.js. This is where the whole application is. You can see the line numbers. There is 210 lines of code. And, I'm just going to describe one smallest thing to you just to like put you into the right frame set, into right mindset. And then you can just take it on your own and research, because I'm not going to describe those 210 lines of code for you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what you can see over here is a bunch of definitions, and they are nested. So the first line defines the function called init, and that function opens up curly brace, and it goes all the way to the line 208 where it ends. So this is the body of the function called init, and at the very bottom on the line 210, I've got a line saying document, which is making a reference to the document as what the browser understands it, your page. It says add event listener. So events is your takeaway number one. You need to read on what are events. It's quite self-explanatory, but again, if you can read and understand, then you're going to be able to learn anything else as well. I'm creating an event listener for an event called DOM content loaded. So again, Google for what's DOM content loaded, and I can tell you everything about it, but that's not the whole point. The whole point is that I give you the right frame of mind to learn and analyze and reverse engineer, because if you can reverse engineer this whole thing, then you can reverse engineer every other thing. Once you can reverse engineer something, you should be like a little kid playing around with toys, and you just dismantle them to the smallest possible detail in order to put them back together. And if you can do that, then you can probably design your own toy and play with it. So that's what I'm trying to teach you here. So yeah, over here, I'm binding the DOM content loaded event with the event handler that's called init, which is our function called init on the line number one.
Okay.
Does that make any sense at all?
Yes, it does, because init short for initial, meaning initially this is what happens. Okay, and then you will start at that point, and it will run through all of these functions, and this would be the kickoff point where the system will now learn that or realize that it must start with that function.
Fantastic. So you see, this is what I need. I need you to give me feedback on what I just explained to you, because if I tell you a couple of things and you can repeat them back to me in your own words, it means that you get it. And over here, when I'm teaching and you get it, we make progress. When I'm teaching and you're just nodding and you don't get it, then we just don't end up anywhere. So this is fantastic. This is working very well, because then it doesn't matter how slowly we move through the process. What matters is that I can explain myself and you can get me, and then I promise you, I will get you to a stage where you can do those things with your eyes closed. It's not going to be a problem once you get my frame of mind over here.
Yeah, 100%.
So, would you like to hear anything more about it, or is that something that you're brave enough to take home and read about it and understand what you're looking at and how is it possibly working?
Okay, so this is the function. It will run from here, open bracket. Okay, sorry, I'm just having a problem with the mouse feed here. Open bracket, constant. We know what that means. It's basic English. Direction, up, down, left, right arrow. Yes, choose direction, function, position. Where position we all understand. This determines the position of the object, I suppose. Function, direction, yes. Okay, self-calculate, self. Okay, I think board, that would say what that is. Snake board. It will talk about the board, which would be the screen, I believe.
That's right. You're getting it.
Function game, document renderer. Rendering means drawing or displaying. Game document. Right, self board, self height, self snake. Okay, self the snake meaning the snake itself. All right, I'm sort of picking up what is going on here. Yeah, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because, like you say, I need to go and research what each of these functions are, what different functions are, what init is, how it works, and you know what these elements are that and go and research them. I think it's going to take me more than 2 hours that it took you to set up the whole program, the whole game. But yeah, I think I can handle it. Let me go away and spend some time working on this. Awesome.
All right, so 60-second closing statement from me over here. Hopefully you're going to like it. I'm doing this on a daily basis for the last 15 years. So the fact that it has taken me 2 hours has got no indication of how much time should it take you. It could be 2 weeks or 2 months. Most important thing is you don't cut corners and you understand what each line is doing. Now, there can be a better or worse way of doing it, and there are usually multiple different ways, not necessarily any better or worse, just different ways of coding the same thing. Most important thing is that software development is about teaching, because what you do with your code is you teach the computer about what you want the program to do for you. So as I am explaining to you what is the concept over here, my code is explaining what I want the program to do to the computer, and then it runs it. And I know that at the moment it's just a silly game, but then later on we are going to dive in deeply to the world of the business and some serious processing that can make loads of money, if not through setting up your own businesses, then through getting a job that pays you a very good salary.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
All right.
So the basics, I will get down and start learning the basics. Thanks much. I appreciate it.
No problem. And thank you very much for your time. And everybody else, comment, like, and subscribe. I'm more than happy to answer all the questions, and we'll get this ball rolling, and we're going to teach you some coding.
Lovely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Good evening.
Good evening.